Hello, hello. Happy Sunday, friends. This is early April 2018, our first spring in the ranch house. It's very exciting to see how things started growing and developing. So I'm going to take you on a very short walk on our backyard and to see how spring looks like in our house. Oh my god, the dogs are started playing already. Oh, come on. Quiet. So as you can see, our grass started coming back. It's very exciting. We got a lot of rain and snow this spring, and yeah, grass just came back within a week. You can definitely see some yellow spots here and there. That's actually from, I think, the dog pee. Yeah, we don't really know how to deal with it, except to replace our grass to dog urine resistant grass. There's apparently a saying like that. However, it will be very expensive. Our long-term vision for this backyard is to turn it into an edible garden space, plus some low maintenance, low water requirement perennials. So we're not going to worry about how the lawn look for now, because eventually all this will be replaced. So this is our first spring, so we actually have a chance to do something to the yard except to get rid of things. If you guys remember, last summer when we moved in, we trimmed a lot of dead branches of those trees, and we got rid of lots of dead trees. So we got rid of a tree over there, a tree over there, a bush over there, and cleaned around the shed, and definitely trimmed back those trees because half of them are literally dead. And this year we actually gonna get rid of more trees and more dead ones and replace them with trees that we think that will grow beautifully long term. So one of the things we're gonna do is to replace the fence, and when we replace the fence, we will have the opportunity to get to the roots of those trees. So Slough's vision is to replace them completely with a privacy screen trees. So it's going to be uniform, dozens of trees along this fence, and they grow very tall, and they're going to fill in, and they're going to become a privacy hedge in a way. And I think that's a really good idea because this is our neighbor's fence. We really don't want to replace it using our own money, but it's it's not very pretty to look at. So if we could have private screen trees in front of them, it will completely block the fence and look very private. And besides, as you can see, our yard on this side significantly sloped down. And with this slope, this 6-foot fence or 5.5 feet fence really does not provide any privacy. So if we have the privacy hedge here that is going like 10 feet tall, it will completely block the neighbor's view, which is a plus. Here's our compost. We're doing both hot compost and cold compost this year. The hot compost means that we keep it wet, keep it the temperature high, which is what's going on in those dark bins. And this is basically where our food waste goes into. So squirrels and other animals wouldn't be able to get to them. So we're not attracting animals into our yard. And we also have cold compost, as you can see over there. Those are all like grass trimmings, tree trimmings, and leaves. We keep them as a trench back there, so that would slowly feed the soil as they decompose, and then we can also use them as mulch if we want on top of our plants. And I have to say, they have been breaking down very successfully. When I get there, I'll show you. Yeah, they've been exposed to the elements. The temperature is never high, but if there's rain and snow, they will get some moist. And the volume of those probably reduced to 20% of this original volume, which to me is composting very well. Quiet. So this is our shed. If you haven't seen our renovation diaries of our shed, you should see it because I think it's a very awesome transformation. It was a terrible rundown shed with rotting plywood, and we completely replaced the roof and the siding of it and the trim, and now it's very pretty. And I have to say, this particular paint we used held up so well, and you can see here that after a whole year, almost a whole year, oh my god, it's holding very, very well, and it did not show any sign of fading or deterioration whatsoever. Along the back fence, we have a very specific plan. As you can see, the fencing here, this is our fence, what we inherited when we bought the house. We power washed it, sealed it with linseed oil, so the fence itself is in very good physical shape. However, it's not very pretty because you can see different sections of the fence use the different kind of boards, so it's kind of a little mismatch. What we are thinking is to, instead of replacing the fence, which is very pricey, we're just going to plant trees in front of them and block the view of the fence and the neighbor behind us as well. So what we decided to do is to plant fruit trees. So this is our first planting this year, or first time planting fruit tree ever. So I really hope that it works. We planted 5 fruit trees, 14 feet apart, because all those fruit trees are expected to grow 12 feet in diameter at the mature size, and of course we can trim them to whatever size we want. By planting them 14 feet apart, we can make sure that they don't grow into each other, however they reach their full potential. And those trees are supposed to grow 8 feet tall to 10 feet tall if we let it, so that will completely block the view from the neighbors. It should give us flower in spring and the fruit in summer. So yeah, to me that's a very good solution to block the view of the ugly fence, as well as providing us nice fruit. We kind of picked those trees to our liking. I picked the apple tree. I actually picked it for Slav because he likes Honeycrisp apples. So we planted a Honeycrisp apple tree over there at that corner. And he picked 2 cherry trees because that's my favorite fruit, which is really sweet. Also, he has a very nice childhood memory associated to it. He said that he has actually, his parents had a cherry tree in the yard. So May, when he has his spring break, he would just live in the tree. He would climb the tree in the morning, read a book, and do whatever, and then eat cherries from the branches. And that's his favorite childhood memory. Unfortunately, that cherry tree no longer exists in his parents' yard. So he decided to carry this memory and tradition into his own yard. Aside from that, we have a plum and a peach tree planted. So all of them started budding. Actually, one of the tree, let me show you, excitingly started giving us a little bit of flowers. I mean, we're not supposed to get any production from those trees or let it to give us any production in the next 2 summers. In the 3rd year, we should be able to start getting fruit if they're healthy. This is for making them growing stronger in the first couple of years. So we're probably going to prune the flower off as soon as it's done, but it's still very nice to see sign of growth. This is about a week after we planted it. We also wanted to experimenting a little bit growing veggie garden here. We grew the vegetable garden in North Carolina before, where you almost do not need to attend it at all because you get a lot of water. And here in Colorado, you do need to water it frequently. Use your own city water. So we're gonna try different methods to try a low water technique to grow our vegetables. This is just gonna be an experiment this year because we don't know how each different technique gonna work. But if you have a few vegetable beds next to each other, we'll be able to figure out what's the best way of preparing soil, of using compost, and using different water harvest technique for our vegetable garden. And the next year we can have a much bigger operation using the best method. Scientific, right? And we also plan to do a perennial garden. We wanted to have perennial flowers like lavender, rosemary, and some Colorado native flowers in order to attract bees and pollinators like bees and butterfly in our house. So one of the things we're going to do is to plant under the mailbox right there with lavender and rosemary, my favorite 2 herbs. And come around where the vegetable garden is going to be, we're also going to plant like a raised bed with perennials. So this is pretty much our plan for this year. so windy. Yeah, this is another thing about Colorado weather. In spring, it's very windy, and you have very late, like May, June hay season, and that destroys a lot of people's plants. So we really needed to figure out a way to adapt to the local climate that we have here. As you can see, we already got manure and peat moss at the back, and in the middle is black mulch, and we're gonna try to make a little bit of the garden operation very healthy, but this year's focus is really gonna be growing those fruit trees and replacing the fencing, get rid of those trees and replace them with private kind of hedges. All those things we planted this year is not gonna really reach their full potential in at least 3 years, but we're hoping by doing it early first spring we had in the ranch house, we can see the results fairly quickly. And here's a dead branch which we're gonna turn into mulch. And let me get to it, and I'll show you the results hopefully midsummer, and hopefully at that time our fruit tree will be still healthy. Bye.